Guys, let's do this. So this is part 3 of our portrait painting of Tara. It's Saturday night. My Giants are losing 7-2 at the top of the ninth. Doesn't look very good. Casey Schmidt, the rookie's up. I should have started this like 30 seconds later. the rook is up, and he's been playing so good. But it's been a wonderful, wonderful day. The rook just got a base hit. It's been a wonderful day. We had a plein air paint out today at the San Jose Rose Garden. And you guys, I posted a short, or a, what do they call it? I posted a short earlier today from it. But man, it was just incredible. We had about a dozen artists. About half of them, maybe not quite half, were from figure painting night. Figure and portrait painting night, which is really cool because in the 2 years that I've been hosting figure and portraiture painting, there hasn't been a lot of overlap between the two groups. The plein air painters don't figure paint, and the figure painters don't plein air. But today, maybe just a beautiful day or something, or just the right mix of artists. But yeah, it was about half figure and portraiture painters out with us today, which is kind of nice. And the crew, it was a good crew. Most of my favorite, there's a few folks that were missing, but most of my favorite painters across the board, most of my favorite people to hang out with, a mix of new members and a mix of, OG members. So perfect day. And then just beautiful. I said on the short that I'm embarrassed that I live so close to that Rose Garden, because it is just incredible. San Jose Municipal Rose Garden. If you're in the Bay Area, South Bay Area, even if you don't paint, there's so many people there doing so many things. There's a quinceañera. There was somebody proposed to somebody. I saw all kinds of parties going on, and just beautiful, and so cool to see coming out of COVID, and then coming out of this weird ass weather. It's we're 5 months into the year now, and today's our first day. It was actually, I want to say it hit about 85 degrees today. Whoops. Which is, in my opinion, about time. If it gets much hotter, I'll be bitching. But the only bad part about it is it's too hot to do anything with my dog. She's pretty much, we got to do something in the morning or the evening, or she's at home, living her best life under the air conditioning. Last time we talked, I was sick. I'm not sick anymore for the most part. I'm feeling pretty good, actually. Feeling pretty good. I had to get up really early, so I'm a little tired, but I got no complaints. So we are going to finish this portrait, I hope. We're going to work on her eyes to start. Get that out of the way, and then we'll work on the rest of the detail and some of the things that I noticed need fixing, like this little bit right here. But yeah, let's get after it. I painted a flower today, or I painted a bunch of roses. I'm not a rose painter, but I'm not a flower painter, but it's all right. It's all right. Somebody's already hit me up for it. 2 people hit me up for it. One person hit me up for it, and then I gave it to him, and then another person hit me up for it, and I haven't told them yet that I already gave it to someone else. So for eyes, I like to go dark. I like, because like with Tara's eyes in this picture, that's the darkest spot is her eyes, kind of the shadow under her eyelid, her pupil, of course. And then we've talked about it before. I always make the iris black to start, and then I'll cover it back up with actual, she's got kind of a greenish blue color of her eyes. And this is when I bring my mall stick out. Kind of hot. I got the fan on, but I might have to hop up and turn on the AC or open the window or something. So let me make sure my head's not in the way. I got my hat turned around. Yep. Headed back to beat the Giants 7-2. Bastards. And then I haven't talked to you guys. Well, maybe I didn't mention it, but our Warriors lost the other night, so no more basketball. Unless you're a Lakers fan. It was really hard watching the end of that game. Really hard. All right, so we'll start with that. Let's do both eyes. It's always best to do both eyes at the same time or roughly the same time. I'm using ivory black and I am using raw umber, and I do have a little bit of my medium. And I am super shaky today. I had a Red Bull earlier, and then I'm drinking Red Bull. So much for sleeping tonight. I think that's a pretty good start. Pretty good start. Let's mix that eye color up. Sorry, Jeremy, I broke into your Red Bull. All right, so those eyes, we'll start with blue. French ultramarine blue. I got a dirty black brush. Let's get some light blue in there. My colors are a little crusty. You guys see my palette okay? Yeah. Her eyes are a little greener. So let's try cad yellow. I could use some light on my palette, but I guess it's all right. Let's do a little tester. So that's the opposite of the catch light. So that's actually going to be the dark bit, but that's okay. I think that's good. We don't want to go too high. Remember the eyelids are casting a pretty big shadow there. What makes it weird is there's no white. Let's get a little bit of white. So we should actually not call the whites of the eye the whites of the eye, because that makes us want to use white to color it. The sclera, I think is what it's technically called. Start with whatever you're using for the flesh tone, not white. And by using that that black, mixture of ivory black and raw umber. The flesh tone color that you're using mixed with that ivory black and raw umber will actually gray it a little bit. And like you can see, the outer part of her eye here is absolutely gray. So just like magic, it's the perfect color. And I didn't invent that. I just happened to notice, hey, this works. So we'll start with that. Let's redefine her iris a little, not her iris, her pupil a little bit. With our black. And then we'll do my favorite thing, which is add the catch light. And I'm gonna do, so opposite the catch light is the lightest part of the iris. I'm gonna do that as well. That's kind of this 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock area of the eye. I'm gonna make it even lighter. I may make it greener. I am going to make it a little bit greener. And I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to have to squeeze out some white, it looks like. Faux show. Let's get some white on there. Bear with me, my white is on the bottom. I'm going to squeeze it out here because we need to scrape off that nasty mess that's in that white, the spot where I normally put my white. But we can do that later. We can do that later. We can do that on my time, not your time. Probably a little too light. You guys see. Let's do that for now. Clean off our brush. I'm going to get a little more black through that iris. You might not be able to see it. If you download the source image of Tara, you'll see that she's got a cool black streak that runs from her pupil to the outer part of her eye. I'm going to try to add. So instead of making a black streak, I've got a gray streak by not being decisive. Wednesday night, we had one of our favorite models, Jennifer Jones. I want to say I'm secretly in love with Jennifer Jones, but it's no secret. Everybody's in love with Jennifer Jones. She's just beautiful and generous and fun to have in the studio. When she uses like usually I feel like I have to give the model some instruction. There's usually a little bit of a debate about what pose we want. Not with Jennifer. Jennifer gets up there, she does her thing. She strikes a pose and the whole room just goes, perfect. My next studio painting, so my next big painting is going to be Jennifer Jones. She is nice enough. I found something. She posted something on her Instagram. She posted a couple times before. I kind of forgot about it. And then she posted it again. And I was just like, oh, shit. I forgot. I got to ask Jennifer if I could paint that sometime. And it's nude. Like it's from her waist up. And she's topless. And I was a little bit... the pictures that she posted... it's got sensor. It's like blurred out. Her breasts are blurred out. And I felt a little bit weird about asking her for the source image. But she didn't even flinch. She just replied back immediately. No problem. And sent it over. So I've got the full high resolution, high uncompressed, high detail, high image to work from, because I'm going to blow it up. It's going to be 24 by 6, what is it? I think it's 16 by 24. Yeah, 8 and 8 is 16, 8 and 8 and 8 is 24. So yeah. So it's going to be big. Big, big, big. I'm super excited. And I went all out too. I've got some big canvases that I bought from Blick that are the same size, just kind of a bulk order of canvases. But I was like, nope, this painting is going to be too good for that. So I got some really nice, like triple prime linen. I bought some stretcher bars, and I basically, for the first time ever, I stretched my own. It's canvas. You guys would understand it as canvas, but it's actually linen, which is the more expensive version of canvas. And it's perfect. It's almost too much pressure. It's almost too nice for me to, it's absolutely too nice for me to paint on. I haven't decided how I'm going to share that with you all yet, because it is a nudie pic. And I know I won't be able to share the uncensored version. I don't know if it'd be interesting for you guys to watch me paint the censored version. So I have a dilemma, I guess. I have a dilemma. Well, shit. Well, that's our eye. So we did it. I've been painting eyes the opposite. Or I've been going back and forth. You've heard me say before, to paint an eye, you paint everything around the eye. And then whatever's left is the eye. But this one we obviously did different. This one we started with the pupil and worked our way out. Where the proper way to do it is to start on the outside and work your way in. And by the outside, I mean like the orbit of the eye, all this shadow down here. But that is a cool eye. So I'm not going to apologize because I love it. I love it. But we do got to darken up around it. Let's get another brush out here. So for some of those colors around the eyes, ooh, I got a crunchy brush that I forgot to clean, it looks like. So we're going to get a little dark version of our skin tone. I should make a big pile of the skin tone because we're going to be blasting through a lot of skin tone. But like here, this brush is a little bit. My head in the way? Yeah, sorry. Get some color around that eye. This is actually pretty dark here. We need to go darker. I think we need to go a little redder. And I'm going to get a little light blue in there. Probably a terrible idea. We still need to go darker. All right. Probably enough. Oh, I do want to fuss with one little more bit of that eye. As soon as I get the paint off my thumb. I always think I'm saving myself trouble and money and recycling by stealing all the napkins wherever I go and whatever fast food I order. But restaurant napkins are terrible for this kind of thing. Just get you some nice high quality paper towels. I'm fussing here a little bit because I realize I don't have the little shelf on the top that's always on the top of the bottom eyelid that reflects light, and I don't have our tear duct. Awkward. Don't go too crazy on the tear duct color. The tear duct is a good spot for a reflection too. Yeah, let's get just a little dot of our buff titanium we use as a reflection. It kind of breaks the center right here. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we're going to have to really redden up her cheeks. But let's do that other eye first. And then we'll go back and redden her cheeks. All right, let's do this other eye. So we did the black. Oh yeah, my AC kicked on. Yeah. I forgot I was hot. So what are the colors we see? Can I zoom in on that a little bit? This is super subtle. Still not using any solvent. I used a little bit today because I used my big 1¼ inch Yaoming Wu brush, and you kind of got to clean that off with solvent. So that should actually be, let me get my gray brush, my black brush, it's kind of gray now. Man, you guys can't see it, but that looks so good. Oh, so good, so good. And I'm gonna work around the bottom of this iris a little bit. The only problemo is this eye is quite a bit smaller than the other eye. Probably should fix that. Probably should fix that. Yeah, let's fix it. Make sure Tara is looking right at us. Very important. I gotta be careful not confuse dark for small. I think I gotta push her whole eye because her tear duct comes all the way to here. So we gotta, and then her white of her eye is another halfway between here and here. Don't be afraid to scratch your painting. Use the back of your brush to etch stuff. Whatever you need to do. All right. So we move that eye a little bit. I think that's going to work out better. So let's go ahead and fix this iris now. And then I think we're going to fix her pupil too. In the back of my mind, I'm like, we're 30 minutes in and we haven't made a lot of progress. But this part is important, so even if it took us the whole session to fix these eyes, it's time well spent. What I kind of screwed up and did is I'm mixing my black with my eye color. And I think I'm going to have to draw this iris in just so that I could see it and make sure that it's in the right spot. And then I'll go back and cover up the spots that need to be covered. So, gotta be careful because her eye is supposed to be lower. right? Remember, her pupils are supposed to be lower. Yeah. Yeah. So it's about that much. Oh, let me fix my iPad is the right angle. So not too bad. Not too bad. But I think lower. So let's pull that pupil down a little bit. That's my dog, I swear. I was talking to JJ the other night and he was giving me... He wasn't giving me, but he definitely commented on it. My dog has a tick where she shakes her whole head vigorously. Thank goodness she doesn't drool. Or drool would be flying. I know it. Because even though she doesn't drool, if I'm sitting next to her on a chair or a couch or something, she always gets me. Gets me. All right, remember I etched. So that line comes all the way out almost to here. This line comes up and then down. All right, let's get some of the iris color on our brush. We'll redo that catch light. It's actually a little gray here where that shadow runs down. Here, and it goes down. And then there's just a little bit of a catch light. We're going to use her, it's pretty gray, so we're going to use kind of that color that we already have and just lighten it up a little bit. So it's going to be a really, her catch light is just a light gray. And that's going to be right about here. And then we're going to add that little shelf on her bottom eyelid. And then before we leave, we're going to try to add her tear duct. So that's the little shelf. And it actually comes around and it's really bright. My iPad's about to fall. Stay back. Stay back, iPad. All right. So now let's do the tear duct. almost can't even tell that it's got any red at all. So we're going to use our transparent red oxide with raw umber with a little bit of the flesh tone. And what I'm trying to do really is just make the shape. And then I might have to do some sclera color. The white of the eye that shall not be named. Yeah, we're gonna put some of the gray back in our sclera. I think I'm gonna use the catchlight for that color. The catchlight color for that color. Right. Got some eyes. All right. Good time for a break, 45 minutes. Let's see here. Give me one sec. Oh, we're live. I was trying to see if I could pause it. I can't pause it because we're live. Knucklehead. All right, so let's see. I think we need to darken the right side, kind of the shadow shapes on the right side of her face. I don't know. It looks pretty dark on. It looks pretty dark in mine. Let me see if I can fix it with the. Let me see if I can fix what you guys see a little better. Camera. It's that camera. Let me turn down the brightness. Let me turn down the saturation. Yeah, that's kind of more what I see. That's kind of more what I see. So not too bad, but it's just kind of uneven, right? Kind of uneven. And let's get some color on our cheeks. Let's just get some color on her period. She looks kind of pale. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna get another brush out. It's my dog, I swear. Might be a little too much color. That's pretty red right there. That might be a little bit too much transparent red oxide. Let's try it. Yep, I like it. It kind of goes here and here. I do that blending with my hand because I forget to oil out my painting a little bit. So I'm kind of putting this wet paint over a dry surface, and I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. Go back and we add the highlight. That'll be fine. Let's redden this up. Just this little bit right here. If it was just wet and wet, like if I had the ability to do this all in one sitting, I wouldn't have that weird issue where I'm putting kind of thin wet paint over kind of a dry surface. But it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Not textbook. Let's see here. Okay, I almost want to just paint it over and then go back and fix it. Which is probably what I should be doing. Let's try that approach. I'm gonna have to switch brushes though. This brush is terrible. Yep, let's do that. Not that this brush will be any better, but just kind of bopping around again, hitting spots that catch my eye. what else is going on? Oh, so I officially got my email back. I signed up for Casey Bow's workshop down in Santa Barbara. He posted on Instagram that a spot had come available, and I just happened to be sitting at my laptop when I saw it, and I was like, well, I never get into these things, and I don't want to be on a waiting list, so let me just do it. So I bought the spot, and then I didn't hear back for, outside of PayPal saying that I'd made a purchase. I never got a confirmation email or anything. And since it's in Santa Barbara, I've got to do things like get airfare and get lodging and find out where the hell this thing is even at. And get boarding for my dog. And it's like the first week of June. So got a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. So yesterday, I was like, let me see if I could email this cat. And if you don't know who Casey Bow is, Google him. Casey Bow, artist. He's one of Richard Schmid's last students, and he's pretty famous in his own right. I couldn't help myself, and I looked up the net worth for Casey Ball, and I was very surprised. But anyways, surprised but not surprised. Not that stuff is accurate, but I've known the guy's name for a long time. I've known it for a long time. And, but anyways, I emailed his support. I think it's support at Casey Bow or info at Casey Bow. And within about a minute, he replied personally and confirmed that I did get the last spot. And so I'm super excited. It's a 3-day workshop. Figure painting. I think his supply list is pretty ridiculous. His supply list has crazy shit like a brush set that's very expensive. His recommendations for easels are the Edge Pro Gear easel. It's kind of a paint book. I have one, so I know how much it costs. And then he actually recommended the largest panels that I've ever been recommended for a workshop before, or that I've ever seen on a supply list before. So that was kind of interesting. But anyways, I'm in. So now this weekend, maybe tomorrow, I'll get fair and all that. Something not right about that nose. Something not right about this brush. Workshops are a strange thing. There's a little bit of controversy. Most artists say that you should only take maybe 1 or 2 a year just because it kind of takes you a while to assimilate the things that you learned. And if you're bopping around, like Casey doesn't have a different palette. So the one thing that he does say is just he said that he would supply paint, but then to also bring your favorite colors. That should be redder, I think. And but usually in workshops, the instructor, they'll have their own palette of colors. Like, you know how on the part twos I always list off my palette. So they always have a kind of a required or recommended palette. And I mean, that's the whole point of the workshop, right? Is you wouldn't take a workshop from somebody just random off the street, right? You usually, or at least I would recommend you seek out your favorite artists and see if they're holding workshops. And then, you know, if they're famous, you try until you get in someday, hopefully. And so you wouldn't take a workshop from your favorite artist and disregard their recommendations, and their recommendations include their palette, right? So anyways, back to, you know, why artists say you shouldn't take very many workshops in a year is because it's really hard to assimilate a new palette of colors. And they're usually not completely different. You know, we all kind of use the same colors. You know, I think all artists I've seen, you know, use French ultramarine blue. You know, actually, Scott Hamill uses the extra dark French ultramarine blue. But for the most part, we all use French ultramarine blue. We pretty much all use cad red. We pretty much all use titanium white. You know, so not too big of changes. But then they always seem to have a favorite color or a convenience color that's just totally different. And it just takes a while to assimilate those colors into your palette and learn how to use them, and, you know, learn how they mix with every single other color on your palette. So, and for what it's worth, I've had a David Gray workshop this year. I've had that Zhao Ming Wu workshop, who I've been trying to assimilate, and like you guys have seen me do master copies, you know, and I've been painting with, you know, people that he paints with, and I've been trying to copy those guys, and you know, and then to stop in the middle of all that learning, you know, it would take me years to be able to, a lifetime to be able to paint like Zhao Ming Wu, if I was even lucky, and if I used his palette and his brushes and, you know, try to emulate his style and studied his books. You know, it would take me a lifetime, if I'm lucky, to be able to paint like him. So it seems kind of strange to stop in the middle of it and change over to somebody else's. You know, and change my style over to somebody else's. Zhao Ming Wu seems to paint, you know, these very expressive, you know, somewhat abstract, I would even say, figures. You know, he's kind of one of those guys that he's kind of economical too, like, you know, with very minimal amount of brush strokes. You know, he says a lot. And Casey Bao is kind of more, you know, even though a lot of his painting is expressive, some of his, like the eyes and the faces and like his focal point are super photorealistic. So totally different style than Zhao Ming Wu, I guess is where I'm going. And so it seems crazy and just like Zhao Ming Wu, you know, it would take me a lifetime, if I'm lucky, to be able to paint like Casey Bao. But what do you do? I mean, the workshop become available. I got the money. I got the time off. And I kind of consider it like a lottery win to be able to get in. It's so lucky I happen to be sitting in front of my laptop when he posted that there was a spot available. I know that's probably a trick that I fell for. He probably got lots of spots available and he does it all the time, but the reason I'm a little trigger happy on that kind of thing is I've been trying to get into Daniel Gerhardt's workshop for years now, and I keep missing it. You know, he posts and within a few hours, the was full. And same with there's another plein air painter that I've been trying to get into her workshop. I even got a recommendation from Scott Hamill to her, and I still can't get into her damn workshop. So when they come available, and then Jiaming Wu, there were so many people wanted to get into that workshop, but I just bought it so early. I got in. I think I could have sold that spot for some money. I'm so glad I got in though. Well, we pretty much covered her whole face again. Doesn't look too bad to me. My brushes are getting jacked up again. See, there's just no chisel. And even that little bit that's sticking up there, that's enough to piss me off. Anyways, I got into Casey Bao's workshop and I'm super excited. He's a little weird on YouTube if you look at his videos and stuff. He's a little weird. Kind of a showman. Kind of theatrical. Stefan Ballman was kind of the first person I ever took a class from. And I love Stefan. But like if you watch his videos and you're around him, he's very theatrical. But I love that dude. I miss him. And I'm hoping that Casey will be the same way. Kind of a character. A little over the top, a little eccentric. But ultimately a good dude. So I'm super excited. I'm excited to go back down to SoCal too. All right, so we spent, what are we, about an hour in? Let's get off of her face a little bit. Haha, that sounds funny. What happens if I turn this light off? I feel bad because you guys get the glare. It just doesn't look very natural. You guys don't see, it looks so much more natural to me. I swear, what I see is so much better than what you see. I always I'll post at the end of the video for this, the actual image. And you'll see. And then I'll just have to, I'm gonna have to buy a better camera. Don't use black for the nostrils. We've talked about it so much. This is kind of my raw umber and kind of my flesh tone. We should put that line in her lip. We'll do the same thing. We'll do raw umber. We'll do raw umber in transparent red oxide for that line. So where the skin meets, two pieces of skin meet, where skin is thin, it's always a warm color, if not red. So think of things like eyelids, you know, the folds of the eyelid. Around the ears, you know, all those little wrinkles and stuff in the ears. And most certainly where the lips meet. And what I'll do is like a bull in a china shop. I'll make this line thick because I really have no choice. That's as thin as I can go with this brush. And then we'll go back as we'll blend it with our lip color. So as silly as that looks, we're going to blend it out. I learned this trick from this, like the first couple months that I'd ever been painting. One of my first paintings is of this boat, and the boat has a whole bunch of like rigging lines and big ropes, big long ropes all through it, probably 10 ropes. And I would go to Michael's and I'd buy ever increasingly small brushes, thin brushes, because I couldn't for the life of me paint those ropes as thin as they were in the painting that I was copying. And the painting that I was copying was out of a magazine article, and it was actually at Stefan Bauman's workshop. And Stefan Bauman would do this thing on the first day to kind of get an idea of what type of art you liked. He had this box of, I'm sure he still does, he had this box of like plein air magazine articles and painting magazines. I forget what all the different magazines were, but basically all of these paint magazine pages, and they were all ripped out. So it was just this box of kind of open pages and magazines. And what he did is he'd sit you down for the first hour, and you'd go through his box and you'd pick out your favorite paintings from these magazine articles. And I just happened to pick this one of this boat. I have no idea why. I was drawn to this boat. Well, I do know, because it's still, that painting is still above my little fireplace now, because it's fucking cool. But anyways, that painting had so many freaking ropes, but since it was from a magazine article, and that magazine article happened to have the name of the artist who painted that fucking painting, I Googled the guy, I found his email address, and I emailed him. And I definitely recommend all of you aspiring artists and beginning artists to not be afraid to do this. But I emailed that guy, and I basically said, I've been pulling my hair out for a month now, and I can't, with even the thinnest brushes you can buy, I can't figure out how to make the ropes, and I sent him a picture. I didn't think anything about him chewing my ass about copyright infringement or, you know, anything like that. And he replied within a day or two, and he even made a video for me. And he showed me how to do it. And just like I just did these lips right now, I don't have a brush to make that thin line. But basically what the secret was is you make a thick line. And with the case of the boat, you make a thick line where the ropes are, and then you paint the sky around it. So let me just put this over here, since we're talking about it. Let me see if I can show you real quick. All right, I moved that. All right, so we'll get some paint on here. So that is the thinnest line I can make with this brush. Let's make it. Yes, if I put a bunch of Gamsol on it and I really thinned it down and made it like ink, you know, I could get it thinner. Certainly not a rope, right? So say that's the color of my rope. So then you take another brush, and it doesn't even have to be a thin brush. It just requires a little planning. So what you do is you take your thin brush. Let's get one over here. I'm trying to not to bugger up one that I'm already using. Yeah, let's take this one over here that I gave up on. So I gave up on this one earlier. So we'll take our sky color. Get a little medium on it. And we'll go down beside it. Always when you're giving an example, right? So you go down right beside it. Paint the one side. And then you paint the other side. And then I covered it up. And then you've got a thin line. You got a little carried away. Let me do it again. So you get the picture, I hope. But that's what I just did on the lips. So I put that big, thick, ugly line in there. And then I basically just painted off everything that wasn't that line. So like that. Now even I have a brush that I can paint a line that thin, and I basically made it with a big fat thick brush. So anyways, lesson for the day. You don't make lines with thin brushes. You paint the line and then paint everything around it, leaving what you want on the line. And the same with that lips. You put that line down and then you paint everything else that isn't that line. All right. Oh, probably time for me to take a break. Got an hour and 15 in. It's about 9 o'clock. Thank you. Somebody was on for a little bit and then hopped off. The subject of this painting is a subscriber now I saw. Hi Tara, if that was you. Hi Tara, if you happen to watch this at some point. Mom is also a subscriber now too. Hi Jay. See you at Christmas time, I hope. Hopefully sooner. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's work on some other stuff. Let's get some of that gold in her hair. Let's get a little bit of that in there, like here. So that's my yellow ochre, and I actually got some cad red in there too. Ooh, my AC turned on again. That feels so nice. So nice. I'm not lying. Today was hot. It's gonna get hotter. Let's get some darkness around the top of her head here. Kind of up in here. This kind of comes straight out. Kind of comes up like this. I was like, I need to take a little break, but then I realized no breaks. Yeah, we still got to get some more shadows under that eye. This line here is really dark. As well as this line. I forget that I got this value scale right in front of me. Something that I notice that I do a lot lately is my first couple passes just are not a dark enough value. And so I spend a lot of time darkening and darkening. Where if I would have done it right the first time, I wouldn't have to waste so much time doing it. And the perfect tool for judging values is scale. And I have one right here in front of me. Someday I'll remember I have it. His neck is looking pretty rough. Some more. I don't like this. And then also this here. We want to make sure she's got a full neck, but then this side of the neck isn't right either. Oopsie. What am I doing? And let's get that her nose. So I got titanium white, and you guessed it. I don't know how you would have guessed it, but cat orange. And then the thing that we got to mess with too. Gosh darn it, dude! How do I do that? One of the things that we got to mess with before we call this a painting is that scarf. That scarf is one of the main reasons I wanted to paint this. Dude, I just did the opposite. So there should be kind of a transition color too that should be a little warmer. Maybe warmer and lighter. Let's use that rosy color. This might be a bad idea, but I like it. It kind of stops above our eyebrow though. All right. Make sure we got the right brush in our hand. So cat orange, titanium white is what we're going to make the light side of her face with. And I'm going to bop around a little bit. And we'll fix that. We'll fix it on her cheek there. But let's hit all the spots that it should be a lighter value, or the lightest value. Including this over here. I'm going to go back and blend a little bit. So it's okay that I got these big tiles. But now let's blend, blend, blend. There's another really light spot right here. And then of course this is really light. Ooh. All right. Typically what happens when I have two paintbrushes in one hand, I get paint all over. So let's knock down these highlights a little bit. And I'm just kind of dry brush blending them, even though my brush isn't very dry. This kind of goes up into here. So we've got two models next week, one on Wednesday night, which is our typical night. And then I have a model that can work on Fridays. She's a new model, but I'm interested to meet her and paint her. So I agreed to do a Friday night. The Wednesday night model, Katrina, we've had before, and she is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So Jennifer, the model that I was raving about earlier, she's just naturally beautiful. She's healthy, but like, I don't think she's a gym rat. I don't know if she's an athlete in high school, but she's just naturally beautiful. I think. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here, but she's just a natural beauty. And kind of a well, I don't want to get myself in too much trouble. But let me think. I'm going to take a second and think about how I want to say that. Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to say it. Jennifer is just beautiful. Nobody would ever disagree or argue. But not a gym rat, not muscular. The model Katrina, however, is a gym rat, a swimmer in college, and very muscular. Like, she did short pose figure for us, and I even said, Jesus Christ, you are jacked. Like, just looking at her arms and her shoulders, she's just fucking jacked. There's no two ways about it. And freaking supermodel beautiful. So I'm excited to have her back in the studio. And so that's Wednesday night. And this girl on Friday night, I'm a little scared about. The pictures that she sent me were kind of racy. And I've had people send me kind of racy pictures before, and then I have to remind them that, that yes, men and women seem to prefer to paint beautiful women. But it's more of an academic setting than it is erotic. Because a lot of people send me erotic pictures. And it's like that definition of pornography. It's hard to define, but you know it when you see it. The girl that we have coming on Friday sent me a few that are pretty close. Pretty close. And I did have to remind her or mention that this is an academic setting because she wanted to do the pictures that she wanted me to post of her for the listing were just too racy. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan, but it's not really the right setting for that type of thing. Because it is, it's kind of a weird thing because, the models most of the time are buck-ass naked, but there's nothing sexy about it. Nothing erotic about it. It's definitely, a naked woman is sexy almost by definition, but so I'm a little bit, I've got like this exhilaration about the Friday event because I always leave it up to the models to wear what they want to wear. I always just say, wear whatever makes you comfortable, makes you feel beautiful. Every once in a while, like Francesca, we pick something off of her Instagram. I usually say if you need some help deciding, I'll send you 3 or 4 pictures that I like from your Instagram. But for the most part, they pick what they want to wear themselves, which is fine by me because it always ends up being better than what I would have picked. But anyways, I'm kind of got this exhilaration about Friday because I don't know what this person is gonna do based on the pictures. I mean, none of them were really appropriate, and I just found some off of her Instagram, and I told her that I'm going to use these. All right, so there is a little bit of a glow here on the bottom right. So probably beach sand. This is probably making the glow over here. The reflection off the beach sand. I'm already... Oops, did our camera move? Move it back. Oops, wrong way. Oh, let me fix it this way. And it is darker. Let me turn on a little bit more. All right, I'm going to take a break. Let's see what I got. I'll do the hang tight. I'll be right back, I think. Let's see, how's this? Nope. Yeah. And then let's say in case somebody hops on, let's see, we'll do 5 minutes. Restart that. And then, yeah, I'll be right back. I'll put myself on mute. All right, I'm back. Dude, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty, excuse me, pretty good. All right. There's a few weird things. There's always these spots you gotta knock down. A big part of this bit is finding things that makes the painting. Like the more lines and the shadows under the eyes, the better. But you got to be careful with women. If you do too many lines, it makes them look older. You don't want to make women look older. If they don't have wrinkles, you don't want to create things that look like wrinkles. But it's tough, right? Because you want to add more detail, but the detail's got to be flattering, or at least not unflattering. You also want to connect things, like this shadow here comes down and then it connects with this shadow, and then that comes around like this. So connecting things that are unconnected. You got to be careful of the hard lines, so that shouldn't be a hard line. So you can take your brush, you can take your finger. I don't know what the stigma is about not using the finger, but I got no problem using my finger. There's a little dingleberry on her cheek here. We need to get the dingleberry off. We want to work on that. We want to work on that scarf, though. I'm just kind of grabbing a few a few things that I noticed when I was taking my break. I was in the kitchen. Grabbed some water, filled up my drink, kicked the dog. You kick my dog. So that should be redder. So just be thinking like an ad that adds value, that complements this painting. You know, look for things that you missed. Look for things that are, you know, especially like if something's bugging you. I'm not going to say there's something bugging me about it. I'm not going to say if I'm going to fix it yet. if you see what it is and put it in the comments, if anybody sees it besides me, I'll fix it. But if I'm the only one that sees it, I'm not gonna fix it. I may tell someday what it is, but if I wake up tomorrow and have a guilty conscience about it, I'll fix it. But it's not an easy fix. Not an easy fix. This actually goes like this. So also, now is a good time to take a look at your values. Again, all right. Let's work on that scarf. I'm not gonna clean my brushes with solvent, but I'm gonna wipe them down real good. And I'm gonna clean up the palette a little bit. I probably do this when I do plein air. I clean up my palette probably 2 or 3 times. So when I do plein air, I got the same stamina. When I do plein air, I can only do about 2.5, 3 hours. Same with this, I can only do about 2.5, 3 hours. Since I've already painted today, I'm already tired, but let's clean up our palette. We're not gonna clean up this white. Let's clean up the front of it though. Because we do the scarf and we're gonna do her shirt. It's got some grays. And then I forget, this little bit right here is her skin. I can't forget about that. I got invited to be the host at a Paint from Life type deal on Thursdays in downtown San Diego. Of course, they want my models, and they want me to use my model. They basically just want me to do what I'm doing at the Triton Museum at this place downtown. I'm not going to name any names just because I don't want to do it. I kind of told the guy I don't want to do it. I kind of got my own. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of got my own gig. And then I got to get up at like 6:30 on Thursday, so I'm kind of a zombie on Thursday night, so I don't want to do it. And I don't need to paint freaking 3 days a week. And I don't need a schedule a week. One or 2 nights a week is already. Trust me. The problem with eyes is you'll never quit messing with them. They'll haunt you. I got paintings that are finished around my house that I think are finished, and I'm just like, it's so hard for me to not pull them down and fuss with the eyes a little bit more. I noticed this comes in a little bit more when I was on my break. We'll see a way if we could get by with just using our convenience color. It's kind of a middle. It's kind of middle between the two colors. And then we'll work on the scarf. I swear, I swear. Better fix this too. That might be just to rub it out with my finger. This line too is too hard. Rub it out with your finger. Women on their face should have no hard lines anywhere, no hard lines. Maybe around the eyes, that little shelf that reflects light. Shadow shapes maybe, but no hard lines. And I don't think, I mean, our focal point is Tara's face, right? So, got some dingleberries. So we're not making a photograph, right? We're not, I know we're copying a photograph, and that's where we get into trouble, right? But we want the focal point to be Tara's face. So if we put a lot of detail, and yes, I am lazy as well, so that has something to do with this. But if we put a lot of detail in our scarf, and we do, say we do every wool thread of her hat, and we get hyper realistic about this whole thing, right? That takes away from her face, and that's the difference between photography and painting. Photography, you want to focus all the attention on a specific thing, the way that we see, right? We don't see when we look at things with our eyes. Everything that we see isn't in perfect focus. Just the very narrow thing that we're focusing on, right? So whatever we're focusing on, that is the only thing that's in focus. And I'm using the same word to describe the different things, but I hope you get what I'm saying. But like if we look at Tara's nose in this painting, or if we look at Tara's nose in the image of that I'm displaying here, you know, maybe an inch or two around that is what's in focus, right? So typically with oil paintings, what you want people to focus on the eyes, right? And then nothing else is as important, and nothing else should be as detailed. And if you look at my painting, that's certainly the case, right? The most detailed bit of this painting is her eyes. Is her eyes, right? And that's by design. This is a painting, not a photograph. So what in this this comes up every time we do plein air painting. Even today, right? Somebody had these trees that were way off in the distance, and they basically painted them like they were painting a photograph, right? It's the same problem. It's like, do you want people? And she couldn't figure out like why, you know, why the trees look closer than her subject. And it was because the trees that she painted had more detail and more chroma and more hard edges than what she was trying to represent as her focal point. And there's some tricks to that, but what I'm getting at is, yes, I can make all of the wool thread in her hat, right? I could paint that. I could take another week and I could paint that. And I could paint all the colors in her scarf, do the pattern. Tattoos are another thing. You know, for tattoos, I could do every line of a tattoo. You know, I have the skill to do it. I have the patience to do it. Jeremy and Marie have seen me sit down at their kitchen table and paint a and draw, you know, take a week to draw something that was very detailed, but at the end of it wasn't very interesting. And yes, I'm going to have to fix that, I know. But and that's at yes, I'm gonna do some work on her scarf, and I'm gonna do some more work on her hat, but by no means am I gonna paint every line and every little bit of detail. And that is just a difference between a painting and a photograph. I'm going to concentrate on the things that got me interested in painting this to begin with. You know, and you heard me say it at the beginning, you know, it was eyes. It was the color of her scarf, not the detail of her scarf. Oop, my watch is telling me it's time for bed. Um, my watch doesn't know that it's Saturday though, and I stay up as late on Saturdays. But man, I just distracted myself. But anyways, I am on those things, but I'm going to concentrate on the things that attracted me to wanting to paint this to begin with. Then downplay everything else. So I made this hair here, but it's also got a shadow, so you can't forget to do the shadow. Speaking of trees, saw a lot of trees today that didn't have a shadow, and they end up looking like little stamps. That are sitting on top of the painting instead of in the painting. I know, I know. We're supposed to be working on the scarf. All right, scarf time. So we got kind of a good base color for the scarf, but we need some darker versions. We need some lighter versions. This was something that was bugging me the other day. And so this is a case again where we're painting over dry paint. All right. All right. And then we've also got this comes down. This comes down. This actually comes up quite high. Here. This comes up, whoops. May have some knitting needles. So this comes up quite high and comes down, and then looks like that, then like that, like that, and then like that. And this actually comes up all the way through here. Can you guys see that? I'm scratching in there. So we got to do that. And then there's a dark section here. That's really black. Like this. So we got to fix that. And then we got to do, this is really light through here. And then this is light, but then that gray under it is really dark. Let's get to work. We're going to get my big brush. We're going to try to mix, try to get this base color again. We get a big old pile of it here. So it's just light blue. So this scarf is a little bit green. So let's get some yellow in there. And then it's a lot lighter. A lot lighter. So we're going to grab a big glob of this white and put that right here. So that's kind of our highlight colors of that green. We mix it up a little bit here. But we don't have the ability to go much. We don't have the ability with the colors that we have to do much more than that. So that is as light and as chromatic as we can go. The question is what how can we get the illusion that it's light with what we have? Here. All right, so let's get a darker version of this. So got to use some blue. Let's get some more yellow in there, more chroma, more blue. And then let's get some white in there. It's not really that green, so let's get some light blue in there. And I'm aware that's a crappy substitute, but without going and buying that color, that's as good as we're going to be able to do. I don't like it either, but let's see what blue gets us. We definitely got to darken this up back here. Now we got to fix her face. This is kind of the shady side. Get some blue in here. Get some blue under here. I think these spots that are so obviously, so obviously oil paintings, I don't think they take away. I think they remind people, especially for better paintings, that this is a painting, a photograph. Like Casey Bow, right? We were talking about him earlier. If you look at his paintings, if you look at the face and his focal point, it almost looks like a photograph. It seems so hyper realistic. But then he leaves so much of his paintings, expressive and abstract in big brush strokes, and he does things where he flicks paint, and it's obvious that that's the technique that he used. He's got big blotches of paint, and it's so obvious that it's paint. But if you were to look at the really detailed spots, they're super hyper realistic. All right. Be careful of the hard lines. All right. Let's see where we can add some highlights here. So it looks like we decided this is a highlight. This is a highlight. Goes all the way around. This is pretty bright. Gotta be careful, it can't all be highlights, right? Let's see. Just fouled my whole pile of green. Twice. Dude. Tired. A lot of painting today. It's got some blue, it's green back up in there. This goes. Some kind of flying thing wanting to fly across my, or walk across my painting. I'm not going to kill it, but. All right, enough of that. We should pull this. We should pull this behind her head, though. And there's one here too. All right, we got to fix her face. That you got to be careful with because you got a cool color in your brush. My head in the way. Yes. Very nice. All right. I'm going to do just a little bit of right here in this corner where the frame is going to be anyways. And that's going to be skin. You'll wonder what it is, but we'll know that it's skin, or I'll know that it's skin. Everybody else will be like, what did he do? What did he do? What is this magic? All right. Now we got to do, I don't know what we're going to do for this hat. We got to do a little bit. She somehow lost her tear ducts. Put her tear duct back. All right. What is that gray of her hat? Let's see. Be careful with this kind of thing too. Soft edges, soft edges. This is one of those things that you remember right when you post it to Instagram. You're like, son of a gun, I totally forgot to do that. I'm just trying to make somewhat, a little bit of detail without actually making some detail. Again, we don't want to draw people to her hat. If we do draw people there, we want to make sure that they just check it out for a second and then boop right back to her face. See, this is kind of the dark side of the hat, so I want to make sure that I'm using more black than white over here, or dark gray than the highlights. All right. All right. That's probably going to change over the next few days. But I think for this video, that's probably good enough. There's also some dark spots in her shirt here on the right side. Might as well get those in. And then we'll probably call it a night. Saturday night, for goodness sake. All right. Excuse me. All right, so there's that. There's one that goes like this. Kind of like that. And that's pretty dark, so I'm going to lighten it up a bit. All right, you guys. I think we're going to call it a night. I don't think that's too bad. Yeah, Saturday night, let's veg a little bit, watch some TV. I just got invited to some Open Studio stuff. Open Studios is super popular in the Bay Area. There's probably 100 people that are having like mini exhibitions in public spaces and rented spaces, out of their studios, out of their garage, at wineries, you name it. And anyways, I just got invited to one from a friend of mine, a fellow artist that paints with us occasionally. So I want to get to bed early, get some sleep, not drink too much, get some rest. I'm sore. I think I'm on about my third hour of painting. Not my third hour, my second third hour of painting today. So I'm probably going to call this done. What'll happen is I'll be staring at it, today's Saturday night. I'm sure tomorrow night I'll be like, oh man, I need to fix this or that. But with respect to this video, I think we're going to call it done. And then our next video, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the Jennifer Jones painting with you guys, just because of the nudity. So I think it's going to take longer than our regular format. If you want to put something in the comments about, yes, I want to see you paint that, or dude, there's the last thing I want in this world, Ken, is to watch you paint the same painting for 20 hours. Feel free to let me know what you think. But yeah, let's call it a night. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to share this with your friends. Anybody that's interested in painting, I hope would find something interesting about this, or maybe even learn something. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope it's as beautiful where you're at as it is where I'm at. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.